Hello, friends. Over the past few weeks, well, couple of weeks really, I have received over 60 messages. I stopped counting at 60. And all of those messages had only one complaint that I am neglecting a certain constituency of my audience. And to put it in the words of one of the persons who had messaged me, he had complained that I am speaking about business persons. I am speaking to and about startup founders. I am speaking to entrepreneurs. I am speaking to family business. But I have ignored that one constituency that makes all of them successful. And that is the people who are looking for jobs and making their careers by working with some of these people. I confess and I accept that I have been neglecting this constituency. And therefore, over the next few episodes, probably about 3 or 4 episodes, I am going to talk about the challenges of job hunting. And then we'll take a short break and come back to other topics because there is a lot to be spoken about this. And the amount of questions and suggestions and wishes I have had from all those 60 plus messages that I have received is actually going to help me create content for at least maybe 12 to 15 episodes. But I don't want to give an overdose, so we'll stop at maybe 4 at the most. I haven't yet compiled all the content, so I don't know, but 3 for sure. So we are going to look at the challenges of job hunting and how one can make that journey less stressful and more fruitful. We all know that job hunting can be a tremendous challenge, and landing the right job is what anybody wants all the time, but it's not that simple. So job searching, as I said, can be, and in fact, it is without an iota of doubt. It is stressful. It is frustrating. It is depressing at times. It is heartbreaking sometimes. And it is overwhelming very so often. No matter how you are searching for the job, whether you are registered yourself on a portal or whether there is campus interview, which is generally the easiest thing to get around to. But it is daunting. That whole process of job hunting is daunting and leads to severe anxiety and even burnout. People get burnt out just with the stress of trying to find a job. And therefore, if one does not learn how to manage anxiety, stress, and burnout during this period of a job search or a job finalization, even people who have topped in every which way are still stressed when it comes to a job because they have those ambitions. And whether that company is going to accept them, whether they're going to get the kind of salary they want, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things that come. So once you learn to control and manage your stress, your anxiety, and not get burned out during the job search, that will make you better. And very frankly, I have seen in some cases at the time I was studying, people through their job interviews, after a couple of interviews, after a couple of the roundtable conferences, debates, so to say, I have found that some of them have developed a knack. They have learned a knack of how they can be much more than what they were, and in fact, never thought that they were capable of that. So there are many other potential situations in which this job hunting can help you. You need to cope with stress during this process and not get dragged down by what is definitely a tough task. Job hunt is a tough hunt. Probably hunting elephants is easier. You need to stay grounded no matter what happens. And you need to formulate the right strategy everywhere, everything about strategy. So you need to formulate a right strategy, you need to formulate a plan, and you need to map your path to get to the goals that you are setting as far as finding a job is concerned. And you have to be ready to invest in the time that that process is going to take. It is not something that happens in a jiffy. As I said, even if you're the best, you might get offers from 3 companies which you are not interested in, and you'll still want to wait even up to the last minute, or maybe let go of those offers in the hope that the right company will take you. So you could spend a lot of time on this. And this challenge increases when the economic outlook, the scenario is not so good. It may be not only just economy on the whole, it can be a sector. You are a chemical engineer and the chemical industry at that time is not doing well. There are so many things that play a role in one getting a job. So now let us first and foremost look at some of the hard truths that you need to accept and understand about finding a job. And the first one, undoubtedly important, is that you need to accept the fact that what you consider as a dream job does not exist. I would say there's 1 in a million chance of your getting what you think is a dream job. And you'll find out maybe the hard way, because it's not easy to accept it when somebody tells you that don't believe everything that the job description says in the advertisement or in the email or whatever else that you have received about a job opening. Okay, don't believe everything that it says. Take it with a pinch of salt. You will have more realistic results if at all you do join that job. You need to look at whatever is available and what fits you best from that. It will not be your dream job, but what fits you best. But at the same time, you need to not ignore seeing beyond what is available, and maybe you find a better fit. It can be on job sites, it can be on placement, through placement agencies. Most importantly, it can be through your network. So you need to be sure that you are not stopping to look. Another important factor, remember, I think I'm repeating this later also, is that you need to tailor your resume for every job application. You can't just print a standard format, keep 50 copies and send it to 50 different people. That doesn't work. Not only is it not highlighting why you should be considered for the job, but also what is important is that all those 50 people may not be looking for the same skill that you possess, and you might be possessing multiple skills. So don't just send out a standard resume, customize the resume for whichever job you're in. A standard resume will not ever give you the best chance of getting that job. In preparation for your job interviews, prepare formats and templates for various things that will automatically go with applying for a job. To begin with, you need a resume. And then when you want to send the resume, you need a covering letter with it. And then if you are called for an interview, there are some GAQs, generally asked questions. I don't know why interviewers always want to know that. Okay, but they will still ask that. And you need to prepare the responses for that, because if you are asked, you can't at that time feel that, oh, I know nothing about this. They're very standard questions. There is nothing where you don't know about it, but at the same time, they can overwhelm you when they come out and ask you that question. So before starting the application process, so to say, before you embark on your journey for a job hunt, there are some questions you need to ask yourself, determine the answers, and then plan your strategy and your goals. Are you prepared to invest the time? Because it is not going to be a one-day affair. It can extend into multiple months. So are you prepared to invest the time? The second most important thing, do you know what your skills and interests are? If you don't, sit down and list them before starting your job search. Decide which direction you want to go. The simplest, do you want to be a techie or you want to go into management? So you need to decide what direction you want to go. What are your career goals? Because your job search is going to depend on that. What kind of a company culture would you like to work with? And this is very important. There are people who would only want to work in a corporate, established corporate structure. I know there are people who want to just work in a startup. They have their reasons. The startup guys who want to work in the startup say, oh, there I learn everything about everything. True, happens if you've got the capability. What size of a company do you want to work? You want a small company? You want a large company? There are things that matter. And you need to look at and assess, based on all this information, what is the best kind of company, what is the best kind of role, what is the best kind of profile that you can choose, so that it will help you to succeed the best in that job that you are going to look for. Job search can be random. There are plenty of opportunities. You'll send out this thing. You never know who's going to reply. It's all random. Let's accept that. Okay. And it drains you, because you are sending out 20 applications, 40 applications. And at the end of the day, you are called for maybe 3 of them. So it drains you out. You're putting 50 applications. You have customized 50 applications if you're doing it right. 50 resumes, yes. And then if they were not called, it drains your mind and your energy. And therefore, it is very, very important that you build your resilience to not get pulled down by these sapping of energy and your mind by all this rejection, so to say. So let us look at some of the things that will help you to manage the process better. And the first and foremost is prepare, prepare, and prepare. You first need to prepare a sensible plan. After that, you need to prepare a strategy. After that, you need to prepare a plan to execute the strategy. And then you need to prepare a roadmap on how you're going to reach the goals as per the strategy. And most important, the last thing, the most important, is you need to prepare what I call a PVP. We've all heard of an MVP whenever we want to sell or market a product. PVP is a personal, not a market, not a product. It is a personal value proposition. And why is it important? Just like an MVP, minimum viable product, and its features are important. Your PVP is important because what is the product you are selling out in the market when you are applying for a job? You're selling yourself. So for yourself, let's not make it a MVP because you are way beyond the minimum viable requirements to get a job. So you create your PVP. As I said, you are the product that you are selling, and therefore you need to make sure that you come out best and you give the buyer something that will solve their problem like you do for a product. While you may not always win in selling yourself, you can't sell your product to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So while you are not going to be able to sell yourself to all that you meet and aspire and come across, but you have to keep persevering and executing the strategy that you have built. You have to believe in your strategy. You have to believe in it and you have to execute it with confidence, knowing that what you are doing is right. If you yourself have a doubt on your strategy, change it. But you must be confident that what you are doing is the right thing. Detach yourself from the process. Don't get emotionally involved with any job interview or any resume you submit. Okay? By being detached, not only will you be more objective, but even when you are in the interview, if you get called, you will do a much better job because you are not emotionally involved. Plan your career path. Have a plan for now. What are you going to do now? Have a plan for the future. What do you want to do next so that you progress in your career? And most important, have a backup plan. A backup plan in case your future plans do not work and you remain where you are, what do you want to do? So you need to plan your career path, plan for now, plan for the future, and have a backup plan ready. Learn and adjust after every interaction with an interviewer, whether it is an interview, whether it is a voice call, whatever it is, learn and adjust. If your plan is not working, step back and reassess, determine the flaws, find out what the flaws are, analyze them, and make sure that you tweak your plans so that that gets addressed. It could be something as simple as maybe you're aiming too high. Yeah, the people want a better qualification or whatever. Maybe your salary you're expecting is just way beyond what the market would offer. Maybe your approach is not right. So you need to figure out what is not right and correct it. But consistently stay focused. There is nothing else that will help you to find a job at the end of the day. And you have to remember, a company does not hire you because you are the best. So don't worry about that. They will hire you not because you are the best in the field that they are talking of, but because you are the one who may not be the best, but who will best deliver what that company wants. So remember this, it is not about being the best in the industry. Don't try to find yourself. You are going to constantly change. As you get a job, as your profile changes, as your role comes in, as your aspirations grow, as your strengths become better, your profile is continuously going to change and you have to change it. Otherwise, you're not going to make the right progress. Okay. So you will constantly need to remake yourself as your strengths and aspirations increase. But through all of this, focus on demonstrating that you are capable of adapting to whatever role you get and remaking yourself so that you succeed in that role. That is the way you are going to expand your horizons and take your career way forward. Engage in professional networking. Networking helps a lot. Be intentional and share resumes meaningfully. Don't share a resume if the job is not something you don't want. Opportunities can come through your network. You need to learn how to tap them. You need to build relationships. You need to look out for breakout opportunities. Sometimes very few people get it. Don't miss the bus when that comes through. And based on your experience and feedback that you get from people you interact with, manage your expectations. As I said, you may be aiming too high. You'll surely get to know when you are talking to people. Okay? Remember your worth always. There will be difficult times in the industry where employment is tough to come by, but that doesn't mean that your worth has diminished in any way whatsoever. If you don't have an experience, no issues, but demonstrate, show that interviewer that you have the fire in the belly and the skill set which you are willing to apply, so that that experience is not going to be critical. Constantly reflect on what you really want. This is something I spoke of, that you should start and ask yourself a few questions before you start your job search. And communicate directly with hiring managers as far as possible. Let's stop here for today. Tomorrow we are going to talk of continuing this forward. What is how to develop the PVP, how to write your resume, how to apply for jobs. So we will talk of all of these things in the next episode, which will be on Wednesday. Have a great day. Enjoy the evening. All my friends who have been telling me that I have not been fair, I'm trying to correct myself, but show me that yes, you are realizing it. Okay. Thank you. Have a great evening.